I know I say this every time, but today we are actually on special assignment. We're looking a little different than the typical dive. We got our homie Ruslan taking out the boat. We're on a very popular river that gets fished 365 days a week. So we're gonna drift down, hit all the hot spots, and I mean, this is our first time doing it with the boat. It's a big river, fast flowing. The visibility is not great, so we'll see what we get into. So today's either gonna be really good or mediocre, so we'll see. Pulling up to the first honey hole and we're already on lure recovery duty. Homie said, yo, I just lost 2 lures in a tree, can you come get it? Honestly, it all depends how much money he got.
Black ones? Rip it right out of the branch.
Awesome. Is this both of them or is it just one?
Yeah, that's both of them.
Now the real question is how much money you got? I'm just kidding. Yeah, we'll toss it.
Awesome. Look at that shit, man. I made these myself.
Oh, sick.
I'll show you how to do it.
My shoulder. Hold on, my hands are wet.
Let's see it.
Damien has never cracked an apple in half, man.
Whoa, Papa!
Okay, so we found our first spot. I actually fished this spot in the fall time, and I have a personal bone to pick with this log and some other snags in here, but the current is absolutely ripping. We're gonna gear up. We're gonna get in there. We got Damien in the flesh today. Ruslan in the flesh. It's a fast moving river, but there's definitely snags in here.
There's a steelhead. Thing annihilated.
Water's 57 degrees today, so we're definitely going in the 7 mil. Wish me luck. Yeah, this river is moving.
Just a bunch of corkies.
Is it too difficult to swim against it?
There's no kicking. All of that was just holding on. I thought it was gonna rip my fins off. And then once you put your head in the water, it's like a blunt.
Yeah. And we're back in business. So first off, thanks for tuning in. Second off, this day was extremely fun. Like I said earlier in the video, it was our first time being on the boat and recovering that way. And it was also our first time doing a river this big. Visibility wasn't great. The current was just absolutely ripping. It was insane. I don't think we were ready for the workout we were gonna put in this day. So, as you could tell from the bat, I don't want to spoil anything or say anything too early, but not everything went as planned. We thought it was going to look a little different. We did a lot of, scouting, looking, dove a lot of spots where we just saw nothing. I didn't even include those clips in here just to not bore y'all to death. I kind of just put in the action clips, but I had over 4 hours of footage from this day. But as you could tell right away, we got into some lead in the shallows. We found kind of a calmer section of the river. Not really, the current was still ripping here. Right off the bat in the shallows, we were finding a decent amount of lead. And it was some good lead too. Like all the pieces we were finding were all 8 ounce and bigger, it seemed like. And I think something to do with that. Well, first of all, here's a clip of me carrying 25 pounds of lead or 30, swimming it across the raging river. I'm telling you, we got our workout in this day, but I think since it's a bigger river, faster moving current, all the fishermen are using bigger weights here, which is kind of cool because typically the smaller rivers, we find a bunch of tiny pieces of lead. Here we were finding big, nice chunks, which was a lot more rewarding when it came to lead aspect. In terms of snag, we weren't finding any giant snags. We find kind of clumps like I'm ripping here out every now and then. Also, probably because it's a bigger river. I gave this snag to this guy and he was stoked. There's a couple of corkies on there if you want.
Dude, I saw a huge sturgeon.
Really?
It was crazy. I just hit the bottom and all I saw was this fork. It was like this tall. This is going like this. I was like, that's a sturgeon.
I think why we weren't finding big, massive bundles of snags like we do on the smaller rivers, just because it's such a big river. There's so many places to fish it. A lot of boats fish it. Bank fishermen have so much more variety and places to choose from. Unlike a smaller river, you have, your couple of good holes that provide fish, and everyone just nails those holes. So even though we weren't finding big snags, we were finding tons of little snags all over the place, and they kept us busy for a while. Something I did want to touch on in regards to comments from my previous videos that I've been getting. People will watch me cut up a snag like this, or a lure or a hook, and a lot of times I'll cut right at the lure where the line connects, just so I don't have to do it in the boat, just so I could take that clean lure, put it directly in the bucket. And people will be like, oh, you're just taking the lures or whatever, the hook, the weight, and leaving on the line. First off, like I said, I have 4 to 5 hours of footage just from this day. If I included every single line I cut and thing I did underwater, you guys would not be enjoying these videos at all. I keep all the interesting parts in, I exclude all the other stuff. A lot of times I will cut out a hook, I will try to get that line, but some of these messes are such a mess, I can't simply go and get all that line out. But I definitely do make it a priority to, if I do see a snag, try to get every part of that snag. And me and Damien will always make an effort to clean up garbage and trash and whatever else we see that humans have left behind. So keep in mind when you're watching these videos, just because you don't see something doesn't mean it's not happening. So first dive, mostly found a lot of lead. I would say 90% of that dive was lead, which a couple snags, nothing worth showing off. So this is where the fun part begins. After a couple hours of diving this river, we realized that the most amount of lead is sitting right under where the strongest current is, and it kind of makes sense. So what we would do is basically start from shore where we were able to stand or swim in one place, and then just dive right into the current, swim against the current as fast as possible, and try to pick up lead on the way. Now, sounds a little easier than it is, but like here you see me holding onto the rock, and what you don't see is me swimming as fast as possible in the opposite direction. So like right now I'm drifting backwards, but I'm kicking as hard as possible just to keep up. And if I do see some snags or whatever, some lead, I'll literally have to kick double my speed and try to grab onto something, pull myself up. It was insane. It was a very strenuous process, and this thing absolutely worked us. We did this for like hour and a half, and you're swimming nonstop the whole time, holding your breath, fighting the current. And a lot of this lead, it's been pressed on by strong current over the years, so it's lodged in there. A lot of that stuff I couldn't even get out. Some of it I would barely get out. So it was fun, man. It was like a different type of diving. We don't usually do this. This also has extreme dangers to it. If you're drifting like this, you're kind of not paying attention, and you run into a log full of snags and you get caught up in it. Things can go south very, very fast, and it can get dangerous. So if you're watching these videos, definitely be careful. Don't try to just hop in and try to get free fishing gear. There's serious risks that comes to all this. We're also not using any scuba tanks for free diving on a single breath hold. If you're doing this nonstop, diving hard, pushing it, holding your breath, like shallow water blackouts happen all the time. And if you don't have good safety, that's basically guaranteed death. So take it with a grain of salt. Be careful if you ever want to try doing this kind of diving. With that being said, as I mentioned earlier, this water is 57 degrees, and at this point in our dive, I was absolutely sweating and overheating in my suit. And there's just nothing you could do about it. It was diving like we've never done before. Just fighting this current, it was pretty crazy. But we were just collecting some serious lead, and we were collecting all sorts of different setups. It was cool to see. I really enjoyed it. It was like treasure hunting underwater. You get a little dopamine rush each time you see a piece of lead, and you're kind of on a time crunch to get it. Like these 3 pieces I get here, or 3, I just couldn't get out. They were lodged in there so hard that I would need to go down there with a chisel and try to get it out. But plus, even if you do see a good pile of lead, you would have to then come up, swim back to shore, swim up ahead, and then drop in and do that drift again and hope you find it. So the best part is that a lot of this lead was very healthy. Even the stuff that looks like it was under for a couple of years, it's still very good quality lead. Like the lead we found on the previous smaller river a couple of weeks ago, where we found tons of it, it was in a lot worse shape, and it looked like it was down there. Actually, who knows how long it was down there, but we were pretty satisfied with the quality of the lead. We got a ton of it, And it looked like some of it was lost yesterday, which could have been sitting down there for years, who knows. After what felt like 4,000 calories burned, it was time to go back to the boat, refuel, and go on to the next spot. Some king salmon from a couple days ago. Just smoked it yesterday. Talk about dive fuel. Omega-3s in the veins. We're about 4 spots in, and the only honey holes we've been hitting is a couple lead piles. A couple snags, little trash pile. But the thing is, they're all solid chunks of lead. Grade A type lead right here. Like, type of lead that you ain't even never seen before. Spot number 5. Way out of here.
And he's halfway to Woodland.
So this spot had a lot of potential. Basing off what I saw underwater, I could tell that there's a lot of evidence of human life in these areas and that this place gets fished a lot. But once again, it was just lead and kind of a bunch of rubbish items like this spatula and other stuff. I kept seeing duct tape rocks. So it looks like dudes just duct tape rocks to their lines and use them as weight because they probably get snagged up here often. But like I said, we've been fighting current in the water for 5 hours now, so the boys are pretty smoked. So I clocked in like 30 minutes at this spot, and then we hit one more spot after this. It was a deeper section. Ruslan said that, here's that duct tape rock, by the way. Ruslan said that there could be some stuff down there. We went down there, we dove for another probably 30 minutes. Literally saw nothing but a moped and an anchor, and the boys called it wraps after that. So usually we go crazy with the snags. You want a golf ball? Today we went crazy with the lead pile. And a spatula. What you got? Ordered some Krabby Patties. Alright boys, well, you don't always choose what you get, but this is about, I don't know, a couple $100 worth of lead, I would say.
That's fresh out the store right there.
Yeah, a lot of these are looking clean. Very, very clean.
Some of them kind of weird.
Boys are running crazy setups out here. Let me show you all the craziest setups. This, I found this wrapped around a rock. We got the trash pile.
This was by far the craziest setup.
Yes.
This was the guy's bobber.
Nah, dudes went crazy with that setup. Let me see that whole thing. Yeah, that'll catch a fish. Some sick.
You should wear that to hockey practice.
Let's see what other wild setups we got here. Your typical 8-banger. I'm not sure what this setup is. If anyone knows, please let me know.
I think it's to hold the bottom. Good stuff. Old or homemade.
Yeah, I like those. Those look cool. Big plates. So we got to do the official weigh-in. We already gave some weight for the boat as collateral. 78 pounds. What do you say, Ruslan?
Like close to 80.
80?
I'll
Okay.
go 72.
Jeez. No, okay, hold on. Hold on. No, I say 85. He's gonna max out the scale again.
Oh my god.
I don't think it actually goes past that, so we can't actually tell.
It does, so that's 75, it's 80.
No, because it stops right there. It straight up stops.
Does
feels like yeah, it feels like it's gonna keep going. Yeah. So we maxed out at 80. So 120 pounds.
We'll never know.
Well, no, this thing is clapped.
We need a new scale.
So we made it back home. That was a long day, a lot of diving. We're back at the garage, and I realized that I'm slowly running into a little problem here. Let me show you. So, getting a little too much gear that I know what to do with. You guys let me know what I should do with it. Should I sell it? Should I make wall mounts for it for the garage? Until then, see you guys on the next one. What is that? Is that the moped? Yeah.